The United Auto Workers Union is filing charges against former President Donald Trump and Elon Musk after their conversation on X. During the chat, Trump praised Musk for his anti-union stances, calling him the cutter. Well, I don't know how he came up with that. Well, Trump and Elon have boasted the conversation reached, quote, 1 billion users. X has not disclosed any monetary information or ad buys surrounding the arrangement with the Trump campaign. I mean, the X's space started out about 45 minutes late, for people who don't know, due to technical difficulties, which Musk blamed on an attack. The Harris campaign wasted no time in making fun of the situation, putting out a statement saying Trump's entire campaign is in the service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. Also, the campaign, which is doing really well, has put out a statement. I don't know who's doing their social media, saying it's been 0 days since J.D. Vance insulted women across the country. So talk about the Harris campaign is funny.
They're funny.
What do you think about their humor? Does it land?
I think it's riding the right line.
Tell me how.
So I think in comedy, typically a joke has a setup and a punchline, and a setup is something that we all agree to be true, and the punchline is a left turn that we don't see coming. And I think the problem with political comedy in everything year 2016 on is that we don't all agree on what is true. And so in other words, if there are no setups, there can be no punchlines. Or I should say, it's very hard to come by a punchline. So I think that the wrong move comedically with the Trump folks is to say things that the liberal media, which they believe is liberal and biased and is not giving them the truth about Donald Trump, but they don't buy it. And so it can't be a setup, right? So in other words, like if you bring up the lawsuits a lot, they'll go, well, that's just a hit job. The lawsuits are a hit job, whatever. And it's a witch hunt. Right. However, I just think there's a few vulnerabilities in the Trump universe, which is we all know he inherited $400 million, right? We all saw with our own eyes that there were tech glitches in the Zoom thing or whatever the Elon thing is, and Twitter, the X thing. And so as much as Kamala's team can play in the moment with things that we all can see with our own eyes, I think that's going to be a winning strategy. I think the other thing is I think you cannot make fun of Trump's voters because you have family who are Trump voters. They have
no sense of humor, is my impression.
Well, yeah, I mean, no sense of humor is one thing, but the other thing is they're smart. My dad's a doctor who has a law degree. He's not unintelligent. So if you just insult him over and over again, you're not going to get anywhere. If you look at all the zingers, the famous zingers in history in the debates, it's these really light touches. It's like that Bush Gore moment where Gore walks too close to Bush Jr. and then Bush sort of steps away, and you kind of go like, I know what he means.
Right.
That's a human moment.
Right. Or I don't want to take advantage of my age. Reagan was quite good at it.
Yes,
actually.
There you go again, the Reagan line. And it's like, and I think as much as Kamala can be in the moment, because she's extraordinarily funny, she's extraordinarily, I mean, her laugh is infectious. I mean, it's hilarious that Trump has gone after her laugh because you go, no, you moron. People like when people laugh.
They do.
It's endearing.
She's turned it around because they for a while they were sort of pointing to something. It was a little out, it was a laughier laugh than other laughs, right? But they've turned it into something lovely, actually, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I think they're on the right path. I think the key is, I think there's like a famous line about dealing with hecklers, which is the best thing you can do with a heckler is respond honestly in the moment. And I think
she did that. Did you see her do that?
She's good at it. Yeah.
She was good. She had I'm the aunt who's going to take out the slipper in a second and hit you with it kind of vibe, which I thought was good. When you do these humorous things, like J.D. Vance is obviously, we're going to talk about him later, a question from the audience, but he's been like a comedy goldmine, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to make of this guy. I liked his book. and in 2017 or whatever it was. And then I don't feel like I'm watching when I watch JD Vance now, I don't feel like I'm watching the same person who wrote that book. And so I think he has a voice problem. I feel like in other words, like I don't understand where he's coming from.
Is there the funniest member of this group, and how much is too far? I'll finish up with this. But when she's doing this, it seems to have a very loose sense of humor. It's not. I mean, the weird word has worked beautifully. I'd love to get your sense of why that works. Is it's funny. It's actually weird is funny versus deplorables or any other word, say Hillary used and stuff, who wasn't funny.
I think that Democrats and myself included, like there's a big talking point on the right, which is that there's Trump derangement syndrome. You've heard this concept, and what's funny about it is I think it's a good talking point because I think in 2016 or 15 when he came on the scene, it did throw a lot of people off, and we were kind of breathless, myself included, on Twitter about every last thing he said. And I think that the only way to deal with him is with facts and composure. And I think that the Harris campaign is doing a really good job of that so far.